So why do we feel stuck so many times in our life? For what we're going to be talking about today in episode 9 of the Relaxed Male Podcast. Hello and welcome to Relaxed Male Podcast that helps men change their relationship with themselves. I am your host, Brian, and I am a men's life and mindset coach who is here to help you understand that you don't have to suffer at your own expense. You can live your dream, and I encourage you to set, then pursue your goals. So join me as I change the mindset and attitudes of men so that they can be the leaders of their families and their destinies. Hey man, hello and welcome to Relaxed Male, a show that helps men reconnect with themselves. Today I didn't have my introduction script this time, so it's just going to be kind of short. Still don't have it quite memorized yet, as you can tell. It's just I've got the first sentence down. So, but anyhow, I wanted to talk today about why do we feel stuck? We want to do stuff. We know we want to do stuff. We try to get ourselves to go. And we don't, or we get in the middle of something and we just feel like we're spinning our tires. We're not getting anywhere. We're not making progress. We're not losing ground. We're just treading water, barely got our head above water. You know, we feel stuck there. We're not going anywhere. We're not doing anything. And it's so aggravating to be in that position. I'm sure you have got stories of how you've been stuck in some place, in a place in your life, or you're not making any headway in anything. You're not advancing in work, or you're not gaining clients. If you are self-employed, you're stuck is the best way to put it. And I wanted to talk today about why you may feel stuck. There are several different reasons as to why we can feel stuck. One of the big ones is, just right out of the bat is we procrastinate. So we want to get stuff done. We want to do things. We see what needs to be done, but instead of actually taking the time and just hitching our britches up and going out there and taking care of whatever it is that we need to be taken care of, we all of a sudden find something else we would rather do. A big thing for me is, I'll sit down and I'll start writing out a podcast episode or doing a blog post or something like that. And I'll get to typing and I'll get about 3, 4, maybe even 5 lines in. And all of a sudden, let's go get some coffee. Go in, talk to the wife for a little bit, see what she's doing, and then come back in. All right, sit down. We're going to get this taken care of. And we do that. Oh, hey, look what's going on Facebook. We procrastinate. We hold back. And there's a lot of different reasons why we procrastinate on stuff. A lot of it is, it's an excuse that we tell ourselves. It's something that our brain does to distract us from going through and doing something that we are uncomfortable doing. For me, writing podcast episodes and writing things like that, it's not that. It's my brain, really. It's not a thought that I have. Whenever I sit down, all of a sudden I get ADD and it's like, oh, let's do this. No, let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. I'll get to typing and all of a sudden, oh yeah, I was wanting to look at this, one little issue I was having on the computer and go through the website and start, looking through code, trying to change a color of a button or something. And yeah, I'm getting something done, but I'm not getting the target item done. We often procrastinate also out of fear. We don't, if we sit down and we do this, is it going to result in the results that we're hoping for? And so we try to put it off, and it is a mind game in itself. That's one of the most frustrating things that I experience is the times when I procrastinate. I want to get something done. Say I need to get the firewood that I have delivered to the house. A lot of times it just sits in the front yard and I just go out and pick up logs as I need them to put them into the stove, instead of taking the time, picking them up, stacking them in the rickrack, and having it right next to the door where it's easy to grab. But instead, I it's in the cold. It might be cold rain or something like that. And I'm going out and picking up wet, soggy logs. Well, they're not soggy, but they're wet logs. And so it takes a while for them to really catch, and they smoke a lot. And it makes, if I would not put off the responsibility that I have of stacking the wood, it would be a lot easier. I'm sure you have plenty of examples like that. And we all, as kids, waited until the night before to do a book report, which we hadn't cracked open till then, because we always found something we would rather do. Procrastination, that's a good way to look at procrastination. It is putting off something that we don't want to do, something uncomfortable. For me, sitting down and actually writing and going through and crafting that can be, it's not 100% pleasant, because it's not, sometimes I have to go through and I have to research some stuff. I've got a particular thought that I want to have. And so I need to look up and see, am I actually looking at this thought correctly, or am I throwing an opinion into the blog post when a fact really needs to be in there. There are times where being philosophical is all right, but you want to have key elements as to anchor your philosophy and your line of thinking to something solid like a fact. And so a lot of times that's where I really struggle, is because I'll go through and I'll read stuff, and I do what most people do. I don't think people read every single word of my 2,000 word blog post, but I think they skip through there and they gather the details that they want to grab. So a lot of times the listicles are that's why listicles are so popular in blogging, is because it's, 7 quick ways of being able to get something done. Well, you can do it this way or this way or this, and they just list out, and you can just go through the titles or the subsections and go and gather, real quick tidbits of information. Now you dig into something even deeper, you understand a clearer element of it. So I'm not a fan of researching, and I think that's just mainly something that struck back to whenever I was in high school and had to do the research reports and things like that. Another way we feel stuck is we overbook ourselves. Yeah, we are a busy group here in America. I am sure it's very much the same in other countries over in Europe and Asia and Africa. But, and down in Australia, can't forget those awesome, amazing people. I mean, that's a whole country of Texans right there. It's amazing. Here in the U.S., we pride ourselves in being productive. Whether we're actually productive or not is a case for a different argument. But we like to put on a lot of stuff. I mean, we even do it to our kids. I mean, the kids go off to school and they're at school for, 8 hours, 9 hours a day. They come home, and before they can even relax or kick off their shoes, what are we doing? We're throwing them back in the car and we're sending them off to soccer practice or hockey practice, and then from there, they may do soccer on, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, while they do music lessons on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And somewhere in there, you probably even stuff them into, on the weekends, you got some type of martial arts just to build up their confidence. And so we do this to our kids. And when we're doing it to our kids, we're doing it to ourselves also, because somebody has to be there for that hour and a half that the kids are at practice. And then we have the day, our weekdays, when we're at work and we're doing what we have to do. And there's always bosses putting more stuff on us and giving us, tasks and projects to do. And we get home and want to relax, but no, we got to, we have help with supper and take out the trash and wash the kids. And, then even then, sometimes at the end of the night, it's 10 o'clock and it's time to go to bed, and something else happens. All of a sudden you've got some other emergency. And so we have we get overbooked. And so instead of focusing in on the important parts, we get ourselves so distracted with everything else in life that we don't we're not able to actually take the time to go out and do the activities and the tasks that are actually important to what we want to accomplish in our lives. If you're wanting to start a business like Relaxed Mel, I'm trying to get the coaching business up and going. I actually believe that I am, one, procrastinating, and B, overbooking myself by doing so much content creation. I need to find a way, and it's something that I'm going to have to work through, and probably have the help with a coach, and take the time somewhere in my downtime. And I've got plenty of downtime. It's not a matter of having too much, not having enough time, because I have 24 hours in a day. I've got 68 hours in a week, I believe is what it is. The same amount as what Bill Gates had when he started Microsoft. The same amount of hours in a day that Steve Jobs had starting Apple. Warren Buffett has no more hours in the day than I do. The only person who seems to have more hours is Hermione, and that's just because she's got a time turner, and then she's cheating. So we overbook ourselves a lot. And that sense of having way too much to do causes us to not get what we want done. And so we feel stuck. We're not making any progress. And with the overbooking, a lot of times we don't say no. And that's another reason we feel stuck, is because our neighbor comes by and says, "Hey, I need help with cutting down some limbs." All right, well, you got the chainsaw, so you go over there and you trim up the trees and do things that he needs help with. You've got the elderly lady down the street who just lost her husband of 53 years. And so you go over there and you mow her lawn for her on the weekends. You're doing this. You're trying to help around. You're just, you're being a productive citizen of the community. But a lot of times people start asking things of you. Hey, could you do this real quick? Hey, real fast. Would you be able to do this? Hey, do you got 10 minutes for this? And that 10 minutes times 10 is 100 minutes. And that's well over an hour. You're almost cutting into an hour and a half. Or, well, no, you're over an hour and a half. You're almost 2 hours. And so you can easily lose track of time if you don't take the time to really sit down and set boundaries. A lot of successful people actually do. They schedule their days. They know that from 8 a.m. to 10 o'clock, they're doing X. They have, from 10 to noon, they're running errands. Then at noon to 1:30, they're eating lunch. After that, they've got another project plan. They have their days scheduled, even their weekends. We're going to go to Santa Fe for the weekend. We're going to go, down to Austin for 4 days. Just depending on what they want to do, they schedule it in advance. And so they really manage their time. And that's a great way. It's for a lot of us, though, it may seem to be very impractical. And for me, I have a real big problem of doing that, just because, again, I get sidetracked. I'm off. I may schedule, 2 hours to write a blog post, but it takes me 4 because half the time I'm running around doing other stuff. Another reason that a lot of people don't get anything done, they don't make any progress, and they feel stuck, is because they just don't. We don't have a plan. And if you sit down, like my goals, I've sat down and I've planned my goals out. I know what steps I need to make to be able to make the objective that I want. Now, doesn't always mean when you make a plan, it always works, but at least you can lay out and you can see this is where I need to be stepping next. And so you're as like a goal being the map to your objective. Your steps are the twists, turns, make a left-hand turn, make a right-hand turn. Just like, on Google Maps, you've got the different, on your directions, they tell you go 5 miles down the road and then hang a left on Newberry Street. If you really want to get out of feeling stuck, one of the best things to do is to take a massive action. A massive action is anything that makes progress. It may be that you send out 5 tweets and you engage 4 people in a day. May not seem like much, but if you can get somebody to reply to you, there you go. Ding, you got to engage with somebody. Another reason so many people feel stuck is actually they need a change. They have been stuck in doing the same thing day in and day out, day in and day out. And again, it kind of harkens back to to not having a plan, because you're doing what you need to do, but you don't have a plan as to how to work your objective into your goals. And so without a plan, you're just kind of flying by the seat of your pants. You're just kind of there. You're just not making any changes. A lot of times that's why so many people, when they go on vacation, all of a sudden that change of just a change of scenery, all of a sudden breaks that dam of why you can't get anything done, why you haven't had any new thoughts. Your thought process has been gummed up for weeks, and you haven't been able to come up with any really good blog topics, or you've had a client that's been a big challenge because you can't quite seem to get him over the barrier, over the hump that's hanging up on him. And so you've tried all the stuff you could think of, and then say you go out camping, just change your scenery does a lot for you. So that's also, a lot of times it's called a 5x5. In the oil field, we always talk about taking a 5x5. That means you take 5 feet, you step back 5 feet, and you take a 5-minute break. You're changing everything. You're stopping your brain from just crunching on, just bashing itself against a wall. And you stop and you look and you look at the problem from a different angle. Doing that, all of a sudden, a lot of times you will see, oh, well, I could go this way instead. And so you're able to make the needed change, and you can see that, yeah, you were trying to shove a camel through the eye of a needle when there's a door right next door to it. You've been focused on that needle. You didn't even see the side, the door that said camel entrance on the side of it, right next door to you. And another reason why we have a problem with feeling stuck is we actually become afraid. We are afraid of change. We come up with those excuses as to why we can't do X or Y or Z or Q. We have our reasons, these little lies that we call excuses. And it's the reason that we lie to ourselves is because we don't want change. We're afraid what's going to happen with change. A lot of times when something changes, that means you're no longer in comfort zone. You have stepped way out of your comfort zone, and you're doing something you never thought you were going to do. You're out of your cave. Netflix has been canceled, and you're wondering, what are you supposed to do now? But you make that change, and you make that step, and you get out of that comfort zone. A lot of times it's a sink or swim line of thinking. And so you're going to get something done, so you don't have to feel the uncomfortable and scary anymore. So you're more likely to make a step forward if you do something. Now, I'm not advocating anything's really crazy. If you're have just decided, hey, I'm going to quit my job tomorrow and start up a new business. No, don't do that, dude. Have a plan. Make sure your plan works first. You want to make sure you've got a working business plan in action before you just decide to jump off into the deep end. Because unless you have got plenty of financial runway, you've got, 3 years of money saved up so that you can focus solely on that, you're probably going to have a good deal of hardship, and you're going to have a whole lot of other distractions because you're not going to have money to, and you're going to, there's chances of losing the house. You want to do something, you want to make a change, you want to take a massive action, but, you want to pay attention, you want to know that there's some risks, but, becoming destitute is not okay, maybe it's me. I don't care to be destitute trying to get Relaxed Mail started. That's why I still drive a truck to bring in some money while I help the coaching clients that I have come in, and the conclave is starting to bring in some clients. So, and still looking, if you want to join, hey, please do go over to relaxedmail.com/mastermind, and that'll take you right over to Conclave of Men, and you can sign up there. So what are some solutions? How do you get yourself, if you are stuck, you're feeling stuck, you want to get out of this mire and that you've got yourself smushed into? Well, there's a couple different ways. First off, do a thought download. This is one of the best tools I can think of. If you are trying to be a writer and you've got quote unquote writer's block, sit down and just write everything. Think every thought that comes to your head, write that down. Give yourself, you can do a complete and total thought download, which is you write everything down until you can't think of anything anymore. And it's everything. Your thought, plot ideas for a book to did you feed the goldfish at night? Why did your aunt's, pet ferret run away? Every thought that you have, whether it's big, small, is important or inconsequential to anything. Doesn't matter whether it deals with the price of rice in China. You just get it out there, get it wrote down. And you can, once you have everything wrote out and you see what is on your mind, you would be surprised to see how your mind, you would be surprised to see how much is actually bouncing around inside your head. It can be a lot of stuff. But you can also actually, you do something with a connection happens when you write something down where your thoughts become a lot more concrete, a lot more solid. And you can actually go through here and go, well, this is important. I don't know why I'm thinking of my dog back when I was in second grade, but that's not important. And you can actually look and start making a priority list. Okay, well, I need to really process what's the angle of advertising that I'm going to take. So start out with a thought download. Second is, if you're just not going anywhere, you're trying to write a book. Say you're writing the Great American Novel and you've got your character list all wrote out. You've got the plot lines set out. You're just ready to tell the story. But where do you start? You've got once upon a time, there was a something. What do you put? I don't know. Is it a man? Well, what type of man? Is it a big man, little man, fat man, skinny man? Is it a healthy man? Is it a man with a twisted psychology? You've got all these different factors, and you're sitting there just rattling around in them. Well, a good thing to do, and a lot of people find a solution by just stepping away. Again, doing that 5 by 5, except it doesn't have to be 5 minutes. You can step back for 5 days. You can set that to the side and just let your mind relax. That's one of the great things about going and experiencing the 3-day effect. The 3-day effect just does marvels for your brain, the way your brain processes stuff, because all of a sudden you don't have electronics in front of you. You don't have the computer. You don't have your cell phone. You have just yourself, maybe a friend, and you're out in the woods for at least 3 days. And that third day, every day as the sun comes up, you realize that your thoughts are just a little bit more relaxed. You start seeing a lot more details. You start hearing some really interesting stuff that's going on around you that you never paid attention to and you never heard before. All of a sudden, you're wondering what that big noise is, and you come to find out it's a little bitty frog. So take a break. Don't have to do a vacation, but you can just stop writing for a little while. Another one is to take action. Make a plan and stick to that plan. If you're trying to build an addition to the room onto your house, well, write out what you need to do. Well, you need to buy lumber. You need to get concrete brought in. You need to make a foundation. You got to get everything set up and going for you to be able to build this addition. Well, to be able to do that, you've got to have a plan. So what is it going to look like? You've got to plan things out. And when you have that planned out, things move a lot easier once you actually take action and plan things. A lot of people also become stuck trying to make a decision. Well, should we move to Boston or should we move to Seattle, Washington? They've got this, the other's got that. Both schools suck. You've got all these, you've got a deal, you've got a reason why you haven't made a decision. And the interesting thing is that not making a decision is actually making a decision, but you want to make a very conscious decision. So you may just settle down and just flip a coin. If you really can't make up your mind between two different places, then just take a coin, flip it. And what will happen is the moment that coin leaves your thumb and arcing up into the air, you're going to have a thought that's going, oh, please be Boston. And you will then know, hey, that's where I really need to go. That's where I really want to be. So let's choose Boston. Or there's been times where I couldn't decide what type of pizza, I flipped, and it really doesn't care if it's Supreme or Meat Lovers. So whichever side it lands on is like, okay, well, there we go. We're going to have Meat Lovers today. Drives my wife up the wall, by the way. What do you want to do? I don't care. What do you want to do? Oh, I don't care. We can do this, and this. Okay, well, which two would you like? Which two would I like? And if they match, then we'll choose that. You can make a decision. And one more way that you can actually, if you feel stuck, you're trying to get something done and it's just not working. Say you've taken a break, you've stopped for a while, you've made a plan and it still just doesn't work. Everything goes wrong. You can actually just drop the whole project. Now, if you make a very conscious reason as to it's not working, it's not going the direction I want, this is not how I was looking at it, you can actually quit something and it not be a failure. Say I wanted to have a podcast network. Well, at one time, and I did everything I could think of. I had all my podcasts together, and that's, it really wasn't a podcast network, and it didn't do anything. It just kind of sat there, and I was sitting there doing about 5 different shows. Didn't do anything. And I realized that I was just spinning my wheels. It wasn't providing any value for anything. So what did I do? I dropped it. It's not that I kept the domains or anything. I dropped it. I just let it go. And when the time for the domain to expire, the domain expired. I let it go. I dropped it. I don't have the Hayseed Report anymore. I don't have the Hay Rolling Podcast Network, or the Digital Hick Review, or any of those other types of other shows that I had in there. Same way with Goodwin Social Media. I tried doing Goodwin Social Media for a couple years. I wrote constantly about social media and how you could use social media for this and that, and ways to be able to, to build up people. And I realized, after a while, I kind of realized that there was something lacking in that. And the problem that I was having, I didn't have a whole lot of customers through that. And there was my reasons for it, for not having many customers. But also I realized that I write, in my language. I use my words. I use my voice, and it's not the voice of, a lot of times it wasn't the voice of my clients. And so I would put something together. I'd get a blog post set up for them, and I'd send it over to them, and they'd go, I don't like how that sounds. And I would rather, why did you use this word? Let's not do, and we would quibble over, the word the, and that's not what I wanted to do. And so I realized that, in all honesty, social media management probably isn't my cup of tea. It's not what I really want to do. I get to help people, which is what I want to, what I like to do, but it's not the way, not the best way. I was good at podcast management, at social media management, but it's not my zone of genius. And so I dropped it and migrated over to making a men's, basically an online men's magazine that transformed itself further into men's coaching, which is where we have Relaxed Male now. So there you go. I hope that helps you out. I hope you'll be able to get your, creative juices flowing, get you out of the mire and the muck, and get you traveling in the direction that you're wanting to go. It is so frustrating to be stuck and to feel stuck and not sure where to go. And you've got, there's things that needs to be done, and you can feel the time pressure that has to be taken care of. And you're just kind of sitting there hoping that, something breaks free sometime. Well, these different tips and things should act as a pry bar and help break that block, apart. If you want help, say you're still stuck and you're needing some help, you can always try coaching. I do offer coaching. You can go over to relaxedmale.com. There's a link at the top of in the menu bar that gives you to coaching. Another thing you can do is take the time to join up with the conclave of men and have not just me, but a group of men come together and we all support each other and lift each other, and like iron sharpens iron, man sharpens man, and that will help you become a better, help you to get over those obstacles that you face when you're feeling stuck or you're not sure if you're heading in the right direction. You've got the input of men who have signed up to make sure that they help each other. We are all invested in ourselves. So we have that. And then finally, I want to go ahead and real quick talk about, my live event that's coming up in May 7th to the 10th. It's going to be over in Western Oklahoma, outside of Cheyenne, Oklahoma. And it is a coach. I'm calling the camping coach. And what it is we're going out, me and 12 other guys are going to go out and we're going to go camping, and we're going to have the 3-day effect. We're going to slow down. We're going to focus in on each other. There's going to be coaching going on where me and I possibly have another man who's going to be joining me, and we're going to help coach guys into getting through whatever obstacles they have. And then every night after supper, we're going to sit down and we're going to have a big mastermind group. We're going to sit down and we're mastermind and help each other, because not only do I have thoughts and tools and ideas that could help you, but you may actually have thoughts and ideas that could help another man in that group. And so while we're all doing that and we're relaxing, we're sitting back and we're taking it easy, we're also going to go for camping, but we're going to come back with a plan to dominate our lives. And I hope that sounds interesting to you, because I find that I find that it's going to be such an amazing time that we have all together. And if you would like to do that, just go to relaxedmale.com/live event, all together, one word, and sign up. Love to have you there. The price is going to stay the same until the end of March. And then, the prices are going to start going up. So you've got about 2 months at the price that it's sitting at right now. And then after that, it's going to increase. Right now it's like $375. And so it's going to start increasing, and it's going to increase pretty quick. And, so if you want to get started, you want to get a plan, come over to join us at the Camp and Coach event, and I'd love to see you there, where I'll be feeding you some good food, and we're going to have hamburgers one night and salmon another night, and finish the event off with a big old fat juicy steak. So anyhow, guys, I'm going to let you go. I appreciate you listening. If you got any questions or anything, please feel free to shoot me an email over brian@relaxedmale.com. That's Brian with a Y. And come stop by. We've got join me on any of the other any of the social media sites. Just look for Relaxed Male, and if you can't find it there, it's going to be The Relaxed Male. So you can go to, as a matter of fact, you can go to relaxedmale.com/whatever social media sites you can think of. Facebook will take you to the Facebook page, /Instagram will take you to the Instagram, /Twitter to Twitter. You catch the drift. And that also works for subscribing to the podcast. You can also go to relaxedmale.com/Overcast. It'll take you to the Overcast site, so you can actually subscribe through your Overcast app. Also for Castro and a lot of the other different podcasts. Got a lot of links for like Deezer and Spotify and Stitcher and all the other podcast apps out there. If I've got it, if you have one that you want to, that's not showing up, let me know. I can see if I can get it added into the list and help you get. But if you like the show, please subscribe. I'd love to have you come in and visit with. I'd love to be able to visit with you at least once a week, because that's how often the show comes out. So, folks, you take care, man, and have yourself a great and productive week. Until next week, bye.